Welcome to Melbourne and the inaugural event of the F1 2019 Championship season. The session is starting shortly and there's a real sense of anticipation in the air. A feeling that anything can happen this year, and if it does, well, this weekend could be the opening chapter to one of the most exciting F1 seasons ever. Joining me in the commentary box is, of course, Anthony Davidson. And it's great to have you back again. What can you tell us about this year's roster? There are some new faces this year, aren't there?
Absolutely, Crofty. There's been a number of interesting signings over the last few months. Where would you like to start?
Let's talk about Williams.
Right, well, this is definitely someone to keep an eye on. Well, they've been signed up likely in no small part due to the way they carried themselves in the Formula 2 Championship. They have a great track record of putting the team first. At one of the races, they even gave up their own position when their car had a technical issue, so that their teammate Lucas Weber, who also debuts here today, could get ahead. That kind of team spirit could take them a long way this season.
Those two aren't the only new faces from Formula 2 this season, are they?
No, this season will introduce fans to George Russell and Lando Norris, two very promising young British drivers. Plus, we'll meet Alexander Albon from Thailand, and finally Devon Butler. Now, Devon was a bit of a controversial figure in Formula 2 last year. He racked up a lot of penalties over the course of the season, including one where he collided with his closest rival. It was an arsey clip. Now, certainly after the event, they were nothing but professional in terms of how they spoke about the incident with Devon, but it's hard to imagine them being as polite about it behind closed doors. I think this rival will be one to keep an eye on over the next few races, as both drivers take their first steps into the world of Formula 1.
This first race of the season is always quite difficult for us trackside, and for those back at the factory as well, as it's the first time the car has run since winter testing. The more consistent mileage you can get in these sessions, the happier we'll be.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of my F1 2019 career mode here today around Australia. This is the first Grand Prix of the season, of course, and this will be the only time you'll ever see practice in this series, simply because it's just pretty much the same as it has been for the past couple of games, so it's not really much. Just to show you what I'm going to be doing for the practice sessions, I'm going to be doing track acclimatization, time management, quali pace, and the race strategy. That's about it, really. Don't really feel like I need to do the fuel management or the ERS management, to be honest, simply because I'm used to that. I'm used to those two components right now. But yes, here we are in the Haas in Australia. And our first Grand Prix of the season, of course. If you've missed the last episode, please go check it out. There'll be a card thing in the top right, or it'll be in the end state at the end of the video if you want to watch to the end. It's up to you. But at the end of qualifying then, we somehow got fastest. I don't know how, but that's obviously just practice, so there's nothing really to take much from that. Devon Butler is in the Renault, and Lucas Weber is in the Racing Point. Just so you all know, that's where they go if you go in Haas. Yeah, without further ado, let's go and have an interview with Claire, and then go straight to qualifying and see where we can qualify for our first race of the season, which is 25%, by the way, just to let you all know in case you didn't know that already. So yeah, let's go and have that interview with Claire now, shall we?
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. It's been a lot of hard work, but here you are making your debut in Formula 1. You must be thrilled. So how are you finding things at the team? Are you settling in? What are you expecting out of this season? Are you just aiming to find your feet in Formula 1, or do you see something more? Appreciate your time.
We're just about ready to kick off today's qualifying here in Melbourne. It's the Australian Grand Prix. So then, Ant, it's another Grand Prix weekend, another exciting qualifying session ahead of us. What are you going to be looking out for over the next few minutes?
The first question is going to be who can avoid making mistakes. There isn't much margin for error in qualifying, and you have to bear in mind that the track conditions may have changed since practice, particularly as we've had a few support races in the meantime. If the brake bias settings, for example, don't take this into account, it's extremely easy to lock up a front wheel and cause a flat spot. Just like that, your lap's ruined and you've wasted a set of tyres to boot.
Okay, you should be able to get into the next qualifying session easily, so try to get a hot lap in early so we can save the tyres.
So here we are then in qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix. We have Robert Kubica going out first in the Williams, which you'd expect to be the slowest car in Q1 and for the rest of the season, to be honest, unless they make huge gains in upgrades. We'll never know because I won't really be concentrating on them. But moving on to our first lap of the session then, it's going to be a crucial lap to get us through to Q2. I'm expecting us to get into maybe the bottom end of Q3, like maybe 9th or 10th in this first session, I don't know, because the Haas is the 5th best car, I think, behind Renault. So we should get into Q3, but however, coming through the fast left chicane towards the end of our first lap, we get DRS failure. So that helps, doesn't it? And so yeah, that
DRS will be offline. There's a fault with the rear wing system. Stay out. We can work on the fix remotely.
Thanks for that, Jeff. But it doesn't help our qualifying lap, does it? Considering DRS is one of the most crucial points of a qualifying lap. We lock up going into the second final corner. However, we now come around the final corner now, and we are coming up to start-finish line into overtake mode. Ran out of DRS anyway, but cross the line and we go 4th. Actually, obviously a lot of people haven't set their lap times yet, so can't really take that into consideration, but we do manage to get through in 10th. Grosjean is in 12th behind us there. Obviously the usual suspects are like the Toro Rossos and the Williams cars and a McLaren as well, and an Alpha. Interesting, have all gone out in Q1 there, so I was expecting McLaren down there, not going to lie. But into Q2 then. The DRS did get fixed, luckily, and no more. I can confirm no more issues were had with the car at all. But starting our Q2 lap then, hopefully going to get through to Q3. This is where the crunch time happens for us. We have Valtteri Bottas setting a new fastest lap of 1:34.1. We're not going to get anywhere near that because the top 3 teams are just in a land of their own. As Sebastian VETTEL sets another fastest lap. We come across the line and we actually go faster than Bottas, which is odd. Wasn't expecting that. We do actually get through, but unfortunately Grosjean there is in 13th, so he didn't manage to get through. But Ricciardo, Sainz, Grosjean, Raikkonen, and I'm guessing Kvyat or Albon are out in Q2. So still surprised. I mean, we were faster than Leclerc as well. Don't know how that happened. But in Q3 it started to rain. Now, there wasn't any rain forecast for qualifying at all during the race weekend, so I don't know where this came from. But coming into the first corner then, I mean, the track, I mean, it wasn't damp, but it was edging on slippery, if that makes sense. But we still managed to get a good enough lap time as we come across the line, and we set a 1:24.5, which puts us ahead of Butler at least, so I mean, that's good. But we do qualify in 6th place, which is great for us. And yeah, so 6th place. Hopefully we'll be able to, never know, get some good points for tomorrow. But yeah, let's now head into the race and let's see what happens for the Grand Prix. Also, Gasly was 6.5 seconds off the pace. I don't know why, but let's head into the Grand Prix for Australia for the first race of the season.
New drivers, new cars, it's a new Formula One season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that plays host to round 1 of a 21-race championship that takes us from here in Australia across the globe and the eventual season finale at the Yas Island circuit in Abu Dhabi. Just south of Melbourne's downtown business centre is the one and only Albert Park circuit. 3.3 miles of public roads, closed for the weekend of course, make for a bumpy circuit with little undulation. There are 16 corners around the lake and a couple of good passing opportunities here as well, thanks in part to the DRS zones into turns 1, 3 and 13. We have plenty of changes to the sport this year with tweaks to the regulations, a fresh-looking spread of tyre compounds, and of course some changes to the roster of car manufacturers. It's goodbye to Sauber and hello once again to the classic name of Alfa Romeo in Formula One. It's also goodbye to Force India. They've been rebranded as Racing Point. Joining me to take you through all the action of the 2019 Formula One season is Anthony Davidson. And it's great to have you with us.
Thanks, Crofty. Always happy to be here, and I'm looking forward to getting underway. Last year was Mercedes' 5th Constructors' title in a row, although for the first half of the season it was absolutely neck and neck with the Ferraris. Hopefully this year we can see the chasing pack take that final step, as I'd love to see a championship contest all the way up to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Another story to keep an eye on is the performance of Red Bull, who have switched to the Honda power unit this year. What that will mean for both their performance and reliability remains to be seen.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, with Sebastian Vettel starting alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Williams, Perez, Butler, Weber and Pierre Gasly, Ricciardo, Sainz, Romain Grosjean and Raikkonen, Norris, Russell, Antonio Giovinazzi and Daniel Kvyat. Kubica and Alexander Albon picks up the last spot on the grid. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
We managed to qualify better than we expected yesterday, so let's do the same again today.
Am I the only one that thinks that the best feature added to this game is the start grid music? Because I love that music so much. Anyway, moving on to the race strategies then. We're going to go for a one-stop, obviously, because it's 50%. Soft to mediums, because, you know, we kind of have to start on the softs because we qualified on them. So hopefully we can get a very good result in this race. I want to qualify, well, I want to finish where I started. But we now have the 5 red lights. We have 5 lights. Just lights out and away we go here for the Australian Grand Prix, the first Grand Prix of our career. And we get off to a relatively decent start. We have Perez on our outside now. We're going to try and brake late. He squeezes us onto the grass. And I don't know why he did that, because nobody was on his outside. But now we have a Butler behind us and Weber, I think, who are battling side by side. And one of them is going to go down the inside. No, we're going to go down the inside of Perez instead. And we're going to try and go around the outside. We're going side by side with Perez around the outside. And we just about get it stuck around the outside. I mean, I love the AI this year on this game. They're so much more feisty than what they used to be. Like that, for example, then, but we now have Perez once again trying to overtake us here. He's going to go around the outside into the first corner, is he? No, we fend him off successfully there. And we now have Lucas Weber behind as well. Weber has managed to overtake. So all the, me, my former teammate, as Weber tries to go around the outside of us, just like his teammate tried to do on the first lap and the previous highlight, but we again do what we did to Perez on the first lap, and this is some great defending. We're now battling away with the 2 racing points. I think it's just the 2 racing points actually, because Butler has fallen off for some reason, but Sergio Perez for some reason tried to go down the inside there with me. I left him plenty of room, he just understeered into me. We now have a replay here. Yeah, it's just us and the 2 Force Indians. I don't know what happened to Butler. But he tries to go down the inside. I leave him the room. And he just spins out off my side pod. Now, you're not really supposed to be going too wide down there. So I don't know what he was trying to do. As he gets a slight... Well, he brushes one of the Renaults there, actually. But at the end of this lap, we're now coming in for our first pit stop of the day. And only pit stop of the day, going on to the medium tyres. So hopefully we can do this successfully. Yes, we can. We're now coming into a 37 mile per hour limit. So it's been a good start to the race. Nice to see.
Let's just get back up to speed. Careful on the next few corners, your rears might be a bit hot.
I don't know what. I think Jeff's high because he thinks I've spun when I clearly haven't. So I don't know what that radio message was about. But back was that Jeff telling me that we've got no more scheduled pit stops. I know that. But we've come out in 19th, so that's not great. But we're now right behind Kimi Raikkonen, who for some reason was going really slowly. I don't know why. We're in low and standard, and that we're going to try and set up a move on Kimi Räikkönen here. So he's going really slowly. The tyres must be going off hugely, but he's got DRS and I haven't for some reason. I don't know why. He's defending the inside heavily. We go down the inside, he squeezes us onto the inside grass there. That was oh, Devon Butler's out of the Grand Prix. That's ironic, considering in the previous episode he was like, oh, you have fun spending time in 18th place, and he's just retired. That's ironic. Because we go down the inside of Kimi Räikkönen just to show him who the better driver is. So that's really funny actually. So now we have a racing point of Weber and Gasly come out of the pit lane. Gasly's actually jumped us here for 6th place, I think that is. Gasly pretty much been like he's been in real life, to be honest, absolutely nowhere. But we try and go down, well, around the outside, sorry, of Gasly, but he successfully defends it very well actually. He goes very slowly on the apex. We try and do the switchback, pushes onto the grass, and we try and go around the outside still, pushes us wide. We have to concede the position there, unfortunately, to Pierre Gasly. So yeah, that's unfortunate, and nothing else really happened after that. Lewis Hamilton had a mechanical issue, but I didn't really manage to catch up to him that much. As we come around the final corner now to take a very, very credible 6th place in our first Grand Prix of the season.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
That's it for another Grand Prix and a fantastic win for Mercedes. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
Well, you know what they say, to finish first you have to finish. And that fact was clear today, with lots of retirements having a big effect on the outcome of the race. As a driver, you tend to keep reliability concerns to the back of your mind and just focus on what's in front of you. But for the teams, races like this can be very stressful.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. After today's performance, Valtteri Bottas secures the championship lead. After an incredible day of racing, who was your driver of the day, Ant?
Interesting choice today, I think. There's a few to pick from, but I think I have to give it to Danny Kvyat. He put in a rock-solid performance today, one that he can be proud of.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes move to the top of the table. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
So the final race classification then sees Valtteri Bottas win. We finish in 6th, and Grosjean actually finishes 10th. There was quite a lot of retirements actually, I didn't realise that, and I didn't realise at the point as well of recording that Lando Norris got a time penalty for something. I don't know why. The driver standings is the same as the race result because it's the first race of the season. And yeah, in the constructors, whenever I decided to take over to the constructors standings, it should be in a minute. There we go. Mercedes lead from Ferrari and Haas are in 4th. So yeah, not a bad first Grand Prix of the season and our career, but without further ado, let's get into an interview with Claire.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. How do you think Devon will react to having not been able to finish today's race? There wasn't much between you and Lucas by the finish today. You really looked in control of your car out there. Your team must be thrilled. It wasn't the cleanest race today, was it? Appreciate your time.
So I hope you all enjoyed these this first episode of my, well, the second episode technically, but the first race of my F1 2019 career mode. Sorry it's taken so long to get out. I mean, I've just been really busy and I haven't felt great recently. So yeah, hopefully it'll be coming out more regularly. The race highlights will be a separate series from this. So if you want to just see the race highlights, no commentary, whatever, then I'll release them about an hour after these videos go out. So if you want to watch them, then fair enough, you can.
That's a great result. You did really well. I don't think we can have any complaints with that performance.
Thanks for that, Jeff, as we get a credible 6th place.
You're not the only driver to be hounded by the press. Emails like the one I've just sent you will give you an insight on how your former Formula 2 rivals are handling the press. Be sure to check your emails regularly, as I'll be sure to send you any of the more, let's say, interesting press transcripts that come my way. Looks like one of your rivals has also been invited to a historical event. This could be a good opportunity to play up your rivalry for the press and expand your reputation.
Thanks for that, for just interrupting me blatantly there. But as you can see there's a press transcript from Lucas Weber, if you want to read it. But if you have enjoyed this episode, please leave a like and a comment. I did upload a recreation of Senna's lap at Monaco in 1990 yesterday, or the day before, whenever I put this out. So go and check that out as well. But if you haven't enjoyed this episode, please leave a like and a comment, and subscribe for more. But until next time, as you can see here, making some upgrades as well, some durability and some chassis upgrades. But yeah, until next time at the Bahrain Grand Prix, hope you all have a good day, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.